O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in holy exile, until the Son of God appear.
Advent is a very special time in our Catholic Church, and it is the beginning of our liturgical year. It begins on the Sunday nearest to the feast of St. Andrew, which is the 30th of November, and this year it is being celebrated just a few days from that feast. Advent comes from a Latin word adventus, meaning coming, or advenio, to come. And it marks the time in the church when Catholics all over the world prepare for this special coming of Christ. We commemorate the first coming of Christ at the time of the Nativity, and we also look forward to the final coming of Christ, or the second coming as we call it, the Parousia, when he will be coming in glory. The first coming was a coming in flesh and in weakness, as marked by his despicable death on the cross. The second coming, or the final coming, is a coming that will be marked with great glory. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, that great monastic figure in the 13th century, spoke not of two comings, but of three comings that we celebrate at this time. The first coming, marking the coming in a humble setting at Bethlehem. The second coming in glory. And then there is a third coming of grace, which is what we continue to experience day after day, particularly in the celebration of the Eucharist, when Christ comes to us in a special way. We can even take that a little further when we reflect on the fact that Christ is always coming, and he comes often in disguise, as one of our more popular hymns that we use at Mass says. Christ often comes in disguise, and often we fail to recognize him. It is a time of intense preparation for us Catholics, and it is a time when we reflect on our own relationship with Christ, and it is also a time of joy, marked particularly by the last part of the season of Advent, the last 7 days actually leading up to Christmas, when we focus in a more intense way on the several messianic titles that are attributed to Christ from the prophets. Unfortunately, Advent is what I often call the Cinderella of seasons. By this I mean it is a season that we often bypass, because during these 4 weeks of Advent we are often so engrossed in the material aspects of the upcoming Christmas celebrations, the purchasing of gifts and the cleaning of houses, and the hustle and bustle that goes into the activities of the end of the year. Often Advent passes us by without knowing it. Advent must be considered in the context of the whole Christmas season, which includes Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany. The particular lectionary that we use, the readings that are given to us at this time, both in the office and in the Mass, as it were, prepares our minds and our hearts for the spiritual dimension of this feast. And we are given very beautiful examples and very strong figures in the readings. We have the figure of Isaiah, which looms large in all our readings, but we are also presented, particularly in the second and the third weeks of Advent, with the figure of John the Baptist, a man who cried in the wilderness, giving new life, new hope in the wilderness, and also the Virgin Mary, who is presented to us in a very special way on the fourth Sunday of Advent. A woman who is an example, a model for us, as one who actually waited, who prepares us for that waiting, and who waited in a spirit of humility, of silence, of expectancy, of hope. It tells us that in our experiences of dryness, in our experiences of weakness, in our experiences of despair and despondency, there is hope. And this is what the season of Advent offers us at this time.
Rejoice!